What if I told you that one of the cheapest breakfasts in your kitchen could change your hunger, your energy, your blood sugar, and even the number of calories you eat for the rest of the day? And yet most people still get this completely wrong. Doctors are now paying closer attention to what happens when people eat boiled eggs in the morning, because the effects are a lot more powerful than most people realize. But there's a catch. If you eat them the wrong way, you can cancel out many of the benefits. So if boiled eggs are part of your breakfast, or you've been thinking about adding them, this video could save you from making a very common mistake. In this video, I'm going to explain what really happens in your body when you eat boiled eggs in the morning. Not myths, not social media hype, real, simple science. You'll learn the biggest benefits, the biggest misunderstandings, and the right way to use boiled eggs so they actually help your health instead of just sounding healthy. So let's get right into it. The first thing doctors want people to understand is this. Eating boiled eggs in the morning can make your blood sugar much more stable compared with a typical high-carb breakfast. Here's the simple science. A boiled egg is naturally very low in carbohydrates, and carbohydrates are the main nutrient that raises your blood sugar quickly. One large egg has less than 1 gram of carbs, but it gives you protein and fat. Protein and fat digest more slowly than refined carbs like white bread, cereal, pastries, and sweet drinks. That slower digestion means you don't get that fast sugar rush, followed by the crash that makes you tired, shaky, hungry, or craving more food an hour later. This is one reason doctors often compare eggs with common breakfast foods. When people eat a bowl of sugary cereal, toast with jam, or a muffin and coffee, their blood sugar can rise quickly and then drop quickly. That drop often leaves them feeling hungry again very soon. But boiled eggs don't create that same roller coaster. They give your body a steadier release of energy. Now here's the myth. A lot of people think, breakfast is breakfast. As long as I eat something, it doesn't matter. That is simply not true. What you eat in the morning can shape how hungry you feel, how focused you feel, and how your blood sugar behaves for hours afterward. And here's the fact. A protein-rich breakfast, especially one built around eggs, often leads to better blood sugar control than a high-carb breakfast. This matters even more if you have insulin resistance, prediabetes, or type 2 diabetes. In those cases, a breakfast based on refined carbs can push blood sugar up fast. Boiled eggs are much gentler on the system. But here's the important detail. Eggs alone are good. Eggs with the wrong side dishes are not so good. If you eat 2 boiled eggs and then add white toast, sweetened juice, jam, hash browns, and a sweet coffee, you've turned a smart breakfast into a blood sugar spike. So the actionable tip is simple. If you want the blood sugar benefit of boiled eggs, pair them with foods that don't spike sugar quickly. Good examples are sliced cucumber, tomatoes, avocado, plain Greek yogurt, a few nuts, or some sautéed vegetables from the night before. If you want fruit, keep the portion reasonable and choose whole fruit, not juice. And once your blood sugar is more stable, something else starts to happen almost immediately. You don't get as hungry, which brings us to the second effect doctors notice. Eating boiled eggs in the morning can reduce hunger and cravings for the rest of the day. This is one of the biggest real-world benefits. Not the kind you only see in a lab, the kind you actually feel. You eat breakfast, and 2 hours later, you're not hunting for biscuits, chips, or a second coffee with sugar. That matters because for many people, bad eating starts with bad hunger control. Here's the simple science. Eggs are rich in protein. Protein is the most filling of the 3 major nutrients. It helps activate fullness signals in your body and lowers the urge to keep eating. It also helps reduce the hormone that drives hunger. So when you start your day with boiled eggs, your brain gets the message that you've had a substantial meal. That's very different from what happens after a donut, croissant, or sweet cereal. This is why in study after study, people who eat eggs in the morning often feel fuller than people who eat a breakfast with the same calories, but less protein. That is a huge point. Not all calories affect appetite the same way. 2 breakfasts can have the same calories and still leave you feeling completely different afterward. Now for the myth. Many people say, if I'm trying to lose weight, I should just skip breakfast. That may work for some people, but for many others, skipping breakfast leads to intense hunger later, overeating at lunch, late-night snacking, or cravings for sugar all day long. And here's the fact. For a lot of people, a protein-based breakfast makes it easier to eat less overall without feeling deprived. Not because eggs are magic, but because they help control appetite naturally. That's why boiled eggs are so practical. They're portion-controlled, they're easy to prepare, they're portable, and they're satisfying. You don't need a complicated meal plan. You need a breakfast that doesn't wake up your cravings. So here's the actionable tip. If mornings are busy, boil 6 to 10 eggs at once and keep them in the fridge. Then in the morning, eat 2 eggs before you decide whether you need anything else. Slow down. Give your body 10 minutes. A lot of people discover they need far less food once the protein kicks in. And let me add one more detail that people often miss. It's not just about feeling full physically, it's about reducing food noise, that constant mental pull towards snacks. A better breakfast often means fewer battles with your appetite later. Now, if you eat less impulsively through the day, the next thing doctors often notice is weight starts moving in the right direction. So let's talk about that. Eating boiled eggs in the morning can support weight loss or weight control, but not in the way people think. Boiled eggs do not melt fat. They are not a miracle food, but they can absolutely help with body weight because they make your overall eating pattern better. And that's what matters. Here's the simple science. When you eat a filling breakfast that is high in protein and low in sugar, you usually end up eating fewer calories later without trying as hard. You're less likely to snack mindlessly, less likely to crash at 11 a.m., less likely to grab fast food because you're starving by lunch. Eggs also have something called a high satiety effect, which simply means they keep you satisfied for the number of calories they contain. 2 boiled eggs are not very high in calories, but they are surprisingly filling. That makes them useful in weight control. They give you more staying power than many foods with the same or even higher calories. Now here's the myth. People often say, eggs have fat, and fat makes you fat. That is outdated thinking. Your body weight is not determined by one nutrient in one food. It's influenced by total calorie intake, food quality, hunger control, sleep, stress, movement, and consistency over time. And here's the fact. The fat in eggs can actually help slow digestion and improve satisfaction. That means you feel fed, not deprived. For many people, that is exactly what prevents overeating. Another myth is this. If I eat eggs every morning, I'll gain weight because breakfast should be light. Again, not necessarily. A light breakfast that leaves you hungry an hour later is often worse than a more satisfying breakfast that keeps you in control until lunch. Now, the actionable tip. If your goal is fat loss, replace your usual breakfast with 2 boiled eggs and 1 fiber-rich side. That could be cucumber, tomatoes, a small apple, plain yogurt, or a handful of berries. Keep it simple. The goal is not to create a giant breakfast. The goal is to create a breakfast that works. And here's where people sabotage themselves. They start with boiled eggs, which is a good choice, and then reward themselves with mayonnaise-heavy sandwiches, processed meat, sweet coffee drinks, or pastries because they think, at least I had eggs. That defeats the purpose. Use boiled eggs as a tool, not a decoration. Let them replace a poor breakfast, not sit next to one. And once you stop that morning hunger roller coaster and support better weight control, another benefit starts to show up that many people don't expect. Your energy becomes much more stable. Eating boiled eggs in the morning can improve your mental energy and help protect your muscle, especially as you get older. A lot of people think of eggs as just protein food, but they are much more than that. And one of the biggest reasons doctors like eggs in the morning is because morning protein matters. Here's the simple science. Your body needs protein every day, and not just at dinner. Protein helps maintain muscle tissue. It supports repair. It supports strength. It helps you stay physically capable as you age. And if you don't eat enough protein earlier in the day, many people end up trying to cram it all in at night, which is not ideal. Boiled eggs give your body a high-quality protein source first thing in the morning. They contain all the essential amino acids your body needs. One of those amino acids, leucine, is especially important because it helps switch on muscle repair and maintenance. This matters even if you're not trying to build muscle. It matters if you're over 40, over 50, sitting a lot, recovering from illness, or trying not to lose strength as the years go by. Now let's talk about the brain side. Eggs also contain choline. Most people never talk about choline, but doctors care about it because it supports brain function, memory, and the production of important chemicals your brain uses to communicate. So when people say they feel more clear-headed and less foggy after a breakfast with eggs compared to a sweet breakfast, that makes sense. Now for the myth. Only athletes need a high-protein breakfast. Not true. Everyone needs enough protein. Older adults need it. Busy professionals need it. People trying to lose weight need it. People with low energy need it. Protein is not a gym supplement. It is a basic need. And here's the fact. Many people eat far too little protein at breakfast and then wonder why they feel weak, hungry, unfocused, or tired before noon. A sugary breakfast gives quick energy. A protein breakfast gives steadier energy. So the actionable tip here is this. Aim for a breakfast that includes at least 2 boiled eggs and, if needed, another protein source if you are a larger person or you know you get hungry easily. That could be plain Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, or a small portion of beans. You do not need a mountain of food. You need enough protein to actually register. And here's the transition that matters. Stable energy is great. Better muscle support is great. But a lot of people are still scared of eggs because of one word, cholesterol. So let's deal with that directly. Eating boiled eggs in the morning does not automatically harm your heart. And this is where a lot of old nutrition fear still confuses people. For years, eggs were blamed because they contained cholesterol. People were told the yolk was dangerous. Some were told to throw it away and eat only the whites. That message spread everywhere. And even today, many people still feel guilty eating whole eggs. But here's the simple science. The cholesterol you eat does not affect everyone's blood cholesterol the same way. In fact, for many people, the body adjusts. When dietary cholesterol goes up, the liver often makes less. The relationship is much more complex than people were taught years ago. Now, this does not mean cholesterol never matters. It does matter. Heart health matters. Blood tests matter. Family history matters. But the idea that 1 or 2 boiled eggs in the morning automatically clog your arteries is not supported the way many people think. And boiled eggs are important here for another reason. Boiled eggs come without the extra oil, butter, processed meat, or frying fat that often comes with other breakfast choices. In real life, eggs are often blamed for a breakfast that includes bacon, sausage, white toast, sweet coffee drinks, and hash browns. That is not the egg's fault. Here's the myth. If I eat egg yolks, my cholesterol will definitely shoot up and damage my heart. That is too simplistic. And here's the fact. For many healthy people, moderate egg intake can fit into a heart-healthy diet, especially when the rest of the diet is built around whole foods. The real problem is often the overall diet pattern, not the egg itself. But I want to be responsible and clear here. Some people do need to be more careful. If you have familial high cholesterol, certain heart conditions, or your doctor has specifically told you to limit egg yolks based on your labs and medical history, then your situation is individual. Follow your doctor's advice. For everyone else, the smarter question is not, are eggs bad? The smarter question is, what am I eating with the eggs, and what does the rest of my diet look like? So here's the actionable tip. If you eat boiled eggs in the morning, pair them with whole foods, not ultra-processed breakfast foods. And if you're worried about cholesterol, don't guess. Check your blood work. Use real numbers. Make decisions based on your body, not fear from 20-year-old diet advice. And once you stop fearing the yolk, another major benefit becomes important. Because the yolk is exactly where many of the nutrients are hiding. Eating boiled eggs in the morning gives your body important nutrients that many people are missing, and most of them are in the yolk. This is where people who throw away the yolk are making a huge mistake. The egg white gives you protein, yes, but the yolk is where many of the vitamins, minerals, and protective compounds live. Here's the simple science. Egg yolks contain choline, which supports the brain and liver. They contain vitamin B12, which helps nerve function and energy production. They contain selenium, which supports your immune system and thyroid. They contain vitamin D in small amounts. And they contain lutein and zeaxanthin, 2 compounds that help protect your eyes. That last part matters more than people think. Eye health becomes more important as we age. Screen time is up, diabetes is common, and the eyes are sensitive to damage over time. Eggs provide nutrients that help support long-term eye health. Now here's the myth. Boiled eggs are boring and nutritionally basic. Not at all. They may look simple, but nutritionally they are dense. They offer a lot in a small package. Another myth. Only the white matters because that's where the protein is. Wrong. The white is mostly protein. The yolk is where much of the nutrition is concentrated. Throwing away the yolk because of old fear means losing a big part of the benefit. And here's the fact. If you can tolerate eggs and your doctor hasn't told you otherwise, the whole boiled egg is usually the better choice. So the actionable tip is this. Eat the whole boiled egg, not just the whites. Sprinkle a little black pepper, add a pinch of salt if appropriate for your health, or pair it with sliced tomato, cucumber, or avocado to make it more enjoyable. Healthy food does not have to be miserable to work. Now at this point, you might be thinking, okay, boiled eggs sound great. So should I just eat them every single morning forever? And that brings us to the final point, because timing, quantity, and context matter. Eating boiled eggs in the morning works best when you use them correctly, and doctors reveal that the biggest results come from how you build the whole breakfast. This is where many people go wrong. They hear that boiled eggs are healthy, then either eat too little, pair them badly, or expect them to solve everything by themselves. Here's the simple science. A healthy breakfast is not about one perfect food. It's about creating a meal that helps your hunger, your blood sugar, your energy, and your nutrition. Boiled eggs can be a strong foundation because they are rich in protein and easy to prepare, but they work best when the rest of the meal also makes sense. For many adults, 1 egg may not be enough. It may sound healthy, but it might not keep you full. 2 boiled eggs is often a more practical starting point. Some people may do better with 3 depending on body size, hunger levels, and the rest of the meal. Again, context matters. Now for the myth. If a food is healthy, more is always better. Not true. You do not need 6 eggs every morning unless there is a specific reason and your overall diet supports it. More is not automatically better. Better is better. Another myth. Boiled eggs are only for people trying to lose weight. Also false. They can help people who want stable energy, better protein intake, better blood sugar control, a quick breakfast, or a less processed start to the day. And here's the fact. The best breakfast is one you can actually repeat consistently. If boiled eggs make your morning easier, help your hunger, and keep you away from ultra-processed foods, that is a major win. So the actionable tip is this. Use a simple breakfast formula. 2 boiled eggs plus 1 fiber-rich food plus 1 hydration habit. That could mean 2 boiled eggs, sliced cucumber, and a glass of water. Or 2 boiled eggs, a small bowl of berries, and unsweetened tea. Or 2 boiled eggs, tomatoes, and plain yogurt. Simple, repeatable, realistic. And if you want an even smarter move, eat the eggs first. Then wait a few minutes before eating anything else. Starting with protein can make you feel fuller faster and may reduce how much of the higher carb foods you eat afterward. So when doctors reveal that eating boiled eggs in the morning causes something important, here's what they really mean. It can cause steadier blood sugar, less hunger, better appetite control, more stable energy, better protein intake, more useful nutrients, and for many people, better weight control over time. But only if you stop pairing them with the exact foods that create the problems you're trying to avoid. Now let me boil all of this down to one step you can start today. Tomorrow morning, replace your usual breakfast with this. 2 boiled eggs and 1 simple whole food side. That's it. 2 boiled eggs and 1 side. Cucumber, tomatoes, plain yogurt, berries, or avocado. No juice, no pastry, no sugary cereal, no healthy granola bar. Just do this for 7 days. And while you do it, pay attention to 3 things. How hungry you feel before lunch, how much energy you have through the morning, and whether your cravings are lower. Those 3 signs will tell you very quickly if your breakfast is finally working for you instead of against you. This is not about making your diet perfect overnight. It's about making breakfast stop being the meal that sabotages the rest of your day. 2 boiled eggs, 1 whole food side, 7 mornings. Start there. If you found this helpful, subscribe to the channel right now because this is exactly what we do here. We take confusing health topics and make them simple, practical, and useful. And I want you to comment the word eggs below, just the word eggs. That tells me you watched to the end, and it helps this video reach more people who need it. And in the next video, I'm going to show you the breakfast foods that look healthy, but secretly spike blood sugar, increase hunger, and make weight loss harder. Some of them are probably in your kitchen right now. So subscribe, turn on the notification bell, comment eggs, and I'll see you in the next one.